Okay, so I'm kind of excited for this one. Some of you guys have been hitting me up about this, the Retro Shooter Pandora box. Now, up front, I did not buy this myself. I also was not sent this for purpose of review. Somebody I know locally had one of these, and I made a trade, so I traded for it. And I was really looking forward to it. I was about to pull the trigger and just buy one because I was really intrigued by what I saw. So what is this? It's a Pandora's box emulation console, but obviously with a focus on shooting games. So I've been using this thing for the past day or so, and I'm impressed, but you know, it's not a perfect solution, but it's a really cool one. So this is a light gun console that also has tons, like thousands of other games, retro games, arcade games, console games, stuff like that. And it's pretty simple to use and set up. So you get these light guns. I looked at their website. They said the reason why they're broken down like this is due to customs, you know, importing and stuff like that, having them broken down. It's more likely that they would clear the, you know, customs process or whatever, but essentially that's all it is. Just the front barrel, boom, attach it, and then screw it in. So you get two guns. This kit right here, they sell a few different variants with controllers and stuff like that, but you can get this kit with the console and the two guns, the pedals, everything you need for a couple $100, like $200 or so. The shipping, they do go through a DHL. It comes out of China, and it's about $48. So you're sitting at around, you know, $250, $275, depending on the setup you get. But there's the two light guns. One thing I noticed, and I didn't see any documentation on this, is there's these little switches underneath. I have a feeling maybe they have something to do with the recoil or how they are recognized, maybe. With player 1, player 2, because when I plug these in, both of them have the switches in different settings there. I'm not sure. This one I can use in the menu screen to select a game. This one I cannot. So I'll have to dig into that a little more. But yeah, built-in recoil, very interesting. We'll get into that. But you have these, you know, Nintendo Switch Joy-Con analog sticks there, a couple buttons, a button on that side, and then your trigger. So when I first saw these, I thought, man, they're going to be really cheap, horrible quality, very light, that kind of thing. And actually, the build quality is very nice. It's a very solid plastic, has nice weight to it. Is it the most comfortable, you know, light gun out there? No, I don't like this, the texture on the grip. It's a little scratchy at times, but overall, it's a pretty decent quality light gun there. So you get the two light guns, you get these little light sensors, and we'll have all this set up in a moment, that you put on the corners of your TV. You get two of them. These can be powered like through your TV or through any other means. You can plug it into the console to get power. All these are is the infrared for the guns to register properly. We have the console itself, the Retro Shooter Pandora box, and this thing has a lot of inputs, a lot. So you got pedal, gun recoil for both players, Ethernet, micro SD card slot, HDMI, power, that kind of thing, and then some more USBs for the light guns and whatnot. So it will be an octopus of a thing there to get this all set up. So they do sell, this kit came with these crappy PS2 controllers and crappy NES controllers. If you're seriously considering this, I'd recommend not buying these stupid controllers because they are garbage, and you could use other controllers if you so choose, if you want to, you know, play other games. But these, I mean, they're serviceable, they work, but they're very crappy in my opinion. So you get all that. It also came with the HDMI cable. I don't have that over here at this time. Have the power supply with the switch, and then our actual pedals here. So these are actually pretty nice, very sturdy, very solid. Use these for a time crisis, stuff like that. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it. Oh, and the cable for the infrared lights. So these can be daisy chained off of each other and then plugged into power, either through your TV, through the console itself, USB hub, however. But let me get this thing set up and then we'll talk about it. I've already used this quite a bit, and I do have a few things to say. Okay, so I've got everything set up here just to show you, not a complaint, but just to make you guys aware if you're interested in this thing. This is just with one player plugged in. We've got a bunch of cables coming out of it. If you're playing two players, you're going to have even more. Now, you don't need to use the pedal, but for stuff like Time Crisis, it may come in handy. So yeah, why not? But yeah, I mean, there's no other way to go about it. We don't have wireless light guns here, so that's fine. Now, as far as the build goes here, typical Pandora box style, you got thousands of games. We've got, MAME, Nintendo 64, NES, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, PSP, but I'm not focusing on any of that. This is about the light gun games. So if you hit this button here, it can bring up that little like search thing, different categories, and then go to light gun. You're gonna hear the recoil right now. Bam! So the recoil gets a little annoying, to be honest with you, in some games because it's not software based, it's trigger pull based. I don't know if these switches can modify that or not. I haven't seen any documentation. I don't want to mess with them. So if you know, let me know. But yeah, usually I just unplug the recoil. You don't have to have the recoil on. But here we go. This is the list of the light gun games. Now, we have 9 pages. There is only 83 games. You're going to have Dreamcast, PlayStation, MAME, some arcade, stuff, NES, and Super Nintendo. I will go through the entire list so you can see, but we'll have stuff like Jurassic Park, Area 51, Duck Hunt, Yoshi's Safari, the Super Scope 6 stuff. There's a nice little selection here of games, and I've played quite a few of them, and I haven't really had too much of an issue. But the one thing you will notice is with this setup in modern TVs, it's an HDMI setup, right? Is that everything's going to be stretched out. Most of these games should be, 4:3 aspect ratio. You don't have that kind of option within this system at all. That's just the way it's set up. But if you have a TV where you can force it into 4:3, you can use it that way. But I would recommend moving these little light sensors, the infrared receiver things, moving them over. Like if this, it's just a box in the middle of your screen, move them over to the, the actual displayed area to get it to function better, to, kind of reflect on screen how you're actually pointing the gun. But I've also noticed depending on the size of your screen, like using this little monitor that I have on my table here, I have to be, a little bit of a distance back so it actually works properly. If you're too close, your aim will be off, things won't work properly, and you'll think there's something wrong with it. But moving to like a 48-inch TV, I had to be like 6 to 8 feet away from it and like dead on to make sure everything was being reflected properly as far as the crosshairs on the screen. Now, some games won't have a crosshair enabled in the game. Some games will have that as part of the game, but it seems like most games you have the option to turn on one within the menu. You just hold the first button right here to get into the menu, and then you could like save state, load state, that kind of thing, and then do the recalibration of the gun. I found a few times, like jumping into a different game, I may have to recalibrate the gun, but it hasn't been a big issue. As long as I maintain like the setup and I'm not changing things, I don't really have to redo calibration. But yeah, with a bigger screen, be back about 6 to 8 feet, 40 to 50, inch screen or so, maybe a little bigger than that, 6 to 8 feet away, and everything will perform fine. Most of the games I've played, I had no issues with as far as aiming goes. Some games seemed like maybe it was slightly off, maybe it wasn't like as accurate, but for the most part, it was bearable. Not the most perfect experience, but so far I've had a lot of fun playing these games. I wouldn't buy something like this for the 5,000 some odd other games that are on it because I have tons of other solutions. It's all about this and with these guns, and I think they did a great job with them. Maybe not perfect, but a lot higher quality than I was expecting. The entire setup here is kind of cool. They have a hub that you could get separately to use on your PC with emulation and light gun games. I did order that from them. That's the only thing I bought directly from them. When that comes in, I'll give that a shot with some PC gaming and whatnot, see if that works. But yeah, I think for the price point, plus the little expensive shipping, I think it may be worth it to the right person. If you could find a few games out of this list of only, 83 games for light gun stuff, it may be worth it to you for the price. I found quite a few that I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm actually going to keep this setup and use it every once in a while because I had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, there you go. If you're interested, I'll put a link down below. No affiliation with the company. Like I said, I got this from somebody locally making a little trade, so appreciate that. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.